Beyond surface attraction, the Jungian lens on desire. The universal human quest for deep, meaningful connection often leads individuals down paths paved with conventional relationship advice, promising quick fixes or superficial tricks to attract a partner. These approaches, while sometimes yielding initial interest, frequently fall short of fostering lasting fulfillment and true intimacy. Many find themselves cycling through fleeting infatuations, perpetually searching for a profound bond that remains elusive. This common experience underscores a fundamental disconnect between conscious efforts and the deeper, often hidden, forces that truly drive human connection. Carl Jung, a revolutionary figure in psychology, offers a compelling alternative to this surface-level understanding. His extensive work delves into profound, often hidden, layers of the human psyche, providing a path to understanding attraction that transcends mere appearance or personality. Jung's insights provide a roadmap to deeper, more authentic relationships, tapping into unconscious forces that shape our desires and interactions. This report aims to explore how Jungian concepts can illuminate male desire, moving beyond fleeting infatuation profound, soul-nourishing connections. It will unveil 5 psychological places that, when approached with awareness and genuine self-realization, can awaken authentic desire in a man. This is not about manipulation, but about fostering mutual growth and creating a relationship that transcends the ordinary. Such an approach promises not just initial attraction, but a transformative experience of love and partnership, catalyzing growth and bringing forth the best in both the feminine and the masculine. It lays the groundwork for a bond that endures and deepens over time, continuing to fascinate and inspire long after the initial novelty fades. Navigating the Jungian psyche. To comprehend the intricate dynamics of desire from a Jungian perspective, it is essential to first grasp the fundamental components of his model of the human mind or psyche. Jung defined the psyche as the entirety of the human mind, encompassing both conscious and unconscious elements, including thoughts, feelings, memories, and instincts. He believed the psyche inherently strives for wholeness through self-discovery and balance, guiding personal growth and understanding. At the forefront of the psyche is the ego, which represents the conscious mind. This is our sense of I, our daily awareness, and the center of conscious experience, responsible for feelings of identity and continuity. It is the part of us that interacts directly with the external world and forms our conscious perceptions. Beneath this conscious layer lies the personal unconscious, a repository of forgotten memories, hidden feelings, and personal experiences unique to each individual. It is where repressed thoughts and emotions reside, subtly shaping behaviors, dreams, and choices beneath conscious awareness. Within this layer, Jung identified complexes, which are emotionally charged patterns formed by past experiences, capable of significantly influencing thoughts, feelings, and behaviors without conscious awareness. Deeper still is a collective unconscious, a universal and inherited layer of the unconscious mind shared by all human beings. Unlike the personal unconscious, it is not formed by individual experience, but contains instincts, patterns, images, and themes common across all cultures and time periods. Jung posited that these shared elements are passed down genetically, shaping human behavior across generations, and are expressed through symbolic language such as dreams, myths, folklore, rituals, and religious symbols. Within the collective unconscious reside archetypes, which are pre-existent, primordial patterns of thought and behavior. These universal images manifest in dreams, myths, and human experience, acting as inherited predispositions that shape our perceptions and reactions, especially in relationships. They are akin to Platonic ideal forms of a human type that individuals can connect with. A crucial understanding that emerges from this framework is that genuine attraction is rooted in the unconscious, not merely in conscious traits or superficial presentations. Many individuals focus on external factors like physical appearance, social status, or wealth when attempting to attract a partner. However, such efforts, while sometimes generating initial interest, often fail to cultivate deep, lasting, or fulfilling connections. This observation points to a fundamental limitation of conscious, surface-level strategies. Jung's model of the psyche highlights a profound influence of the unconscious mind, particularly the collective unconscious and its archetypes, on our perceptions, motivations, and attractions. Romantic attraction, in particular, is described as an unconscious phenomenon driven by the psyche's yearning to integrate the conscious sexual archetype. Furthermore, the allure of mystery and the tension of the unknown tend to diminish when everything becomes too predictable or readily available, suggesting that purely logical or overt conscious effort can, paradoxically, reduce desire. Therefore, if attraction is primarily an unconscious process guided by deep psychological patterns and archetypal resonance, then superficial, conscious tactics are inherently limited and insufficient for awakening profound desire. The unconscious communicates through symbols, emotions, and intuition, not logic. This implies that for desire to be genuine and lasting, it must stem from a deeper alignment that resonates with these unconscious blueprints within both individuals. To truly awaken and sustain desire, one must understand and engage with these unseen, unconscious forces within oneself and the other person, moving beyond the ego's conscious desires and external presentations to address the soul's deeper, often unacknowledged, needs. This shifts the focus from external doing to internal being, emphasizing inner work as a foundational element for external attraction. To further clarify these foundational concepts, here is a concise overview of key Jungian terms and their relevance to male desire and attraction. Psyche. Brief definition: the totality of the human mind, conscious and unconscious. Relevance to male desire/attraction: the comprehensive arena where desire is experienced, shaped, and ultimately integrated for wholeness. Ego. Brief definition: our conscious sense of self, center of conscious experience. Relevance to male desire/attraction: can be misled by superficial attractions, needs to integrate unconscious insights for authentic selfhood and healthy relationships. Personal unconscious. Brief definition: repressed or forgotten personal experiences and emotions. Relevance to male desire/attraction: contained complexes, emotionally charged patterns that significantly influence attraction patterns and relationship dynamics. Collective unconscious. Brief definition: universal, inherited patterns of thought and imagery shared by all humans. Relevance to male desire/attraction: the deep source of archetypes that guide fundamental human behaviors, including attraction and the yearning for deep connection. Archetypes. Brief definition: primordial, universal patterns within the collective unconscious. Relevance to male desire/attraction: shape our unconscious ideals of partners and influence the initial spark and sustained nature of attraction. Anima. Brief definition: the unconscious feminine aspect in a man's psyche. Relevance to male desire/attraction: crucially influences who a man finds attractive, how he relates to women, and his capacity for emotionality and intuition. Shadow. Brief definition: the disowned, repressed, or unacknowledged parts of the self. Relevance to male desire/attraction: when projected, creates illusions and conflict in relationships. Integrating it leads to authenticity, internal strength, and wholeness, which is deeply attractive. Projection. Brief definition: unconsciously attributing one's own inner qualities onto another person. Relevance to male desire/attraction: explains initial intense attraction, love at first sight, and subsequent disillusionment when projection fades, highlighting the need for conscious recognition. Individuation. Brief definition: the lifelong psychological process to becoming one's true, authentic self. Relevance to male desire/attraction: The ultimate goal of Jungian psychology. Healthy relationships serve as a transformative vessel for mutual individuation, leading to deeper, conscious love and fulfillment. Complexes. Brief definition: emotionally charged clusters of ideas or images in the unconscious. Relevance to male desire/attraction. Can drive irrational behaviors and attractions. Conscious awareness and integration are necessary for healthy relationships and breaking maladaptive patterns. Embracing the anima, a man's inner feminine blueprint. The first psychological place to understand and awakening profound desire in a man is his anima. The anima represents the unconscious feminine side within a man's psyche. It is not merely about biological gender roles, but encompasses a totality of unconscious feminine psychological qualities, often representing the very soul of a man's inner world. This archetypal image is deeply rooted in the collective unconscious, forming an eternal image of woman shaped by ancestral experiences and personal interactions with women, particularly the mother figure. This unconscious image is an archetype engraved in the man's living organic system. The anima profoundly influences a man's attitudes and interactions with the opposite sex, often appearing in dreams and shaping his ideal partner. Jung believed that a male sensitivity is often lesser or repressed, and thus considered the anima one of the most significant autonomous complexes within his psyche. Its integration is crucial for a man's opening up to emotionality, intuitive processes, creativity, imagination, and psychic sensitivity towards himself and others. Men are frequently attracted to women who embody qualities reflecting their anima. This phenomenon can explain the intense, immediate connection often described as love at first sight, where a man projects his anima onto a woman, leading to an instant and powerful attraction. This projection can feel inexplicable, a deep recognition that aligns with a hidden part of oneself. The woman, in this initial phase, becomes a projection screen for the deepest parts of their own soul. However, a significant challenge arises from this idealization. The danger lies in falling in love with a projection rather than the real person. As time passes and the initial projection inevitably fades, disappointment can emerge when the real individual surfaces from behind the idealized image. The goal, therefore, is not for a woman to attempt to be a man's anima, which is an internal psychological construct. Instead, it is about understanding the anima's influence and, through her own authenticity, implicitly encouraging its integration within him. Initial romantic attraction is often characterized by intense anima projection, leading to idealization and subsequent disappointment when the real person fails to meet the projected image. This superficial attraction is often fleeting. Jung emphasized that for psychological wholeness, a man must integrate his anima within himself rather than continuously projecting it onto external women. When integrated, the anima enriches a man's emotional life, intuition, and creativity. Relationships in this context are seen as a transformative vessel, where a partner mirrors unknown aspects of oneself, including those connected to the anima. If a woman merely attempts to fit a man's projected anima, she risks perpetuating his unconscious pattern of seeking completion outside himself, thereby hindering his individuation. Conversely, a woman who is genuinely authentic, emotionally mature, and deeply connected to her own inner self, her feminine energy in a broad, archetypal sense, can serve as a powerful, non-manipulative mirror. Her genuine presence, rather than constructed persona, resonates with the man's anima's deeper, unfulfilled aspects. This resonance implicitly encourages him to withdraw the projection and integrate his own anima, as she embodies the qualities he seeks internally but has disowned or not yet developed. This fundamental shift moves a relationship from an unconscious illusion to a conscious encounter with the actual person. The awakening desire, in this context, is not just about the initial spark of infatuation, but about fostering a relationship that supports the man's psychological growth and wholeness. A woman who is comfortable with her own inner world capable of deep emotional connection, and able to meet a man on an emotional and spiritual level will be profoundly attractive because her authenticity facilitates his journey towards integrating his anima, leading to a more complete and enduring form of desire. Integrating the shadow, authenticity as magnetic wholeness. The second crucial psychological place for awakening profound desire lies in the integration of the shadow. The shadow is a fundamental Jungian archetype representing the dark side of our personality. It comprises everything we deny, suppress, or perceive as inferior, evil, or unacceptable within ourselves. This includes primitive negative human emotions and impulses such as rage, envy, greed, selfishness, and the striving for power. However, it is vital to understand that the shadow is not inherently negative. It also contains undeveloped positive qualities, creative energies, and aspects of our potential that we have disowned. Jung famously articulated this paradox, stating, "There is no light without shadow and no psychic wholeness without imperfection," highlighting its essential and often overlooked role in a complete psyche. When individuals remain unconscious of their shadow, they tend to project its qualities onto others, particularly those closest to them. This unconscious projection means that we see our own disowned traits in our partners, leading to conflict, blame, and misunderstanding within relationships. For instance, if one represses their own anger, they might perceive their partner as constantly angry, even if that is not objectively the case. True connection, in Jung's view, can only truly begin when the projections fall away, allowing individuals to see and accept their partner for who they truly are, imperfections included. Shadow work is a therapeutic process of bringing these unconscious parts into awareness and integrating them into the conscious self. This integration leads to significant psychological benefits, including greater authenticity, enhanced internal strength, improved relationships, increased energy, and overall psychological integration and maturity. A woman's authenticity, self-acceptance, and willingness to confront her own shadow play a pivotal role in creating profound attraction. A man is naturally drawn to a woman who has faced her own fears, acknowledged her flaws, and embraced her full self, both her darkness and her light. This psychological wholeness, or inner completeness, carries an invisible power and is inherently attractive. Authenticity and self-sufficiency, stemming from inner wholeness rather than emotional coldness, are inherently magnetic qualities. When a woman is comfortable in her own skin and embodies this integrated self, she creates a psychological container where a man feels safe to be himself. The authentic integration of one's own shadow by a woman creates a resonant field of psychological safety that allows a man to unconsciously feel permission to integrate his own disowned aspects, thereby fostering a deeper, more complete attraction rooted in mutual wholeness rather than compensatory projection. Relationships are often plagued by conflict arising from projections, where individuals see their own unintegrated shadow qualities in their partners. While conscious efforts to resolve conflict are made, the underlying unconscious dynamics often persist. Jung posits that shadow integration is crucial for psychological wholeness and maturity. He also states that relationships serve as a transformative vessel where partners mirror unknown aspects of each other. True love, according to Jung, encourages both partners to acknowledge and heal their shadows. If a woman has actively engaged in her own shadow work and achieved a degree of psychological integration, she embodies authenticity and self-acceptance. This internal state means she is less likely to project her own unintegrated shadow material onto a man. More profoundly, her self-acceptance of her own imperfections and darker impulses creates an unconscious atmosphere of non-judgment. This allows the man's unconscious to feel safe enough to lower its defenses and begin to acknowledge and integrate his own disowned shadow aspects. When a man perceives a woman who is solid in a way that goes beyond muscles or money and comfortable in her own skin, it signals a capacity for real connection that transcends superficiality. This enables a meeting between my essence and your essence, where both individuals can be truly seen. The deepest desire a man feels is not for a perfect, idealized partner, but for a partner who can meet him in his authentic totality, including his vulnerabilities and flaws. This mutual acceptance, sparked by the woman's own integrated self, forms a bedrock of profound, lasting attraction. It transforms a relationship from a battleground of projections into a shared journey of self-discovery and integration, moving beyond the illusory maya of unconscious projections to a genuine, soul-level connection. Vulnerability, when expressed from a place of strength and self-acceptance, is deeply intoxicating. It signals that one is not hiding behind a mask and isn't afraid of depth. The dance of projection and individuation, from illusion to real love. The third psychological place involves understanding the dynamic interplay of projection and the journey of individuation in romantic relationships. Initial romantic love, often experienced as intense infatuation, is frequently characterized by powerful unconscious projection. During this phase, individuals unconsciously attribute their idealized inner images, such as the anima/animus aspect of the shadow or other complexes, onto the other person. This process makes a partner seem magical, idealized, or even like a predestined destiny. This pull of projection is a potent, often unconscious drive to complete oneself by seeking qualities perceived as lacking or unacknowledged within one's own psyche. Individuals, in essence, fall in love with the idea of the person or with a part of themselves they see reflected in the other rather than with the real individual. However, these positive illusions are eventually destroyed by reality as time progresses and projection naturally fades. This often leads to disappointment, disillusionment, and sometimes the unconscious projection of negative states onto the partner. The journey of individuation is Jung's term for the lifelong psychological process of becoming one's true, authentic self. This involved the integration of conscious and unconscious parts of the mind and the reconciliation of inner contradictions. It is a path of self-discovery, inner growth, and building authentic values independent of societal or romantic expectations. A crucial component of individuation, particularly within relationships, is the withdrawal of projections. This means consciously recognizing that the qualities one admires or despises in others are often unintegrated aspects of oneself. This process transforms the you, the projected image, into an integrated part of the I, the authentic self. This profound process requires conscious effort, rigorous self-reflection, and a willingness to confront inner conflicts and complexes. Jung viewed intimate relationships as an alchemical vessel or transformative vessel for encountering the unknown within oneself, where one's partner serves as a mirror for unacknowledged aspects of self. Love, in this context, can be a transformative process of mutual individuation, where both partners actively support each other's inner development and growth. As Jung famously stated, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. True connection blossoms when projections recede, allowing partners to relate to the actual individual, free from illusions and expectations. This enables a genuine encounter with the actual person and can lead to a third kind of relationship or golden thread. Authenticity in interactions, honesty, openness, and the creation of a safe space for vulnerability are paramount for this deeper connection to flourish. The transition from initial infatuation, driven by projection, to genuine, lasting desire hinges on the willingness of both partners to engage in the individuation process, transforming the relationship from a compensatory mechanism into a crucible for mutual self-realization. Many relationships begin with intense infatuation, which often fades, leading to disappointment or conflict, suggesting that the initial desire is frequently based on something unsustainable. Jung explicitly states that initial attraction often involves projection, where one falls in love with an idealized image rather than the real person. He also emphasizes that the goal of psychological development is individuation, which involves withdrawing these projections and integrating the disowned parts of oneself. Relationships are seen as a fertile ground for this individuation process. If desires to endure and deepen beyond the initial honeymoon phase, it cannot remain solely on the level of projected ideals. The awakening desire in a man, in a profound Jungian sense, implies a desire that matures from an unconscious pull toward an idealized image to a conscious appreciation of the real, evolving person. This requires both individuals to engage in their own inner work. When a woman embodies self-mastery, inner completeness, and authenticity, she does not need the man to complete her, which paradoxically makes her more attractive and allows for a relationship based on reality, not illusion. This fosters a dynamic where the man is also encouraged to grow, as his own projections are no longer passively accepted, but gently challenged towards integration. The deepest form of desire is not about finding someone complete you, but finding someone with whom you can both become more complete. A woman who understands this dynamic and actively engages in her own individuation will attract a man who is ready for a relationship of depth and mutual growth. This shift of focus from getting something from each other to becoming something together, leading to a more resilient and fulfilling connection. Cultivating mystery and depth, the unfinished poem. The fourth psychological place involves cultivating a sense of mystery and depth akin to an unfinished poem to sustain desire. Desire, particularly in its enduring form, thrives on a degree of uncertainty, intrigue, and the promise of ongoing discovery. As observed, what is too easily obtained can feel less significant. Paradoxically, constant pursuit can diminish the very desire one hopes to inspire. The magic of mystery and the tension of the unknown fade when everything becomes too predictable, too available. This aligns with Jung's concept of the numinous, a sense of the sacred, awe-inspiring, or profoundly mysterious. Jung acknowledged a modern tendency to avoid the unknown and to de-psycheize the world, stripping it of its inherent mystery and numinosity. However, true depth, spiritual meaning, and a sense of wonder are found in embracing this mystery. The concept of being vast in a poem unfolding is profoundly articulated in the source material. Let there be mystery. Let there be silence between your sentences be the story he cannot finish reading, not because you are withholding, but because you are vast. You are not a solved puzzle. You are a poem unfolding. When he feels that there is always more to learn, more to feel, more to touch, not just on your skin, but in your soul, he will remain engaged, not from obligation, but from wonder. This suggests having a rich, dynamic inner life, actively pursuing passions, and cultivating a sense of self that is continuously evolving and expanding rather than a fixed, solved, or fully revealed entity. It implies a deep connection to one's own feminine energy as a source of creativity and spontaneity. This approach is not about engaging in manipulative games or being artificially elusive. Rather, it stems from genuine depth, authenticity, and a natural, unforced intrigue. Your genuine self, with its unique strengths and perspectives, is what truly draws meaningful attention. It involves maintaining personal space, establishing healthy boundaries, and not feeling compelled to share every aspect of oneself immediately. This contributes to mutual respect and fosters a sense of individuality within the relationship. A man is often drawn to someone who is passionate about their own goals, who don't offer complete certainty about the future. This self-sufficiency and engagement with one's own purpose create an inherently attractive dynamic. Sustained male desire, beyond initial infatuation, is cultivated not by strategic withholding or superficial tactics, but by a woman's authentic embodiment of an ever-unfolding inner world, which unconsciously mirrors the man's own yearning for individuation and the discovery of deeper meaning. Popular advice often suggests playing hard to get, or creating artificial mystery to maintain interest. However, Jungian principles suggest that true, lasting desire is rooted in deeper psychological dynamics, not superficial games. The source material alludes to a profound mystery. Jung emphasized the importance of embracing the mysterium magnum and the numinous, contrasting it with the modern tendency to de-psychize the world and strip it of wonder. Furthermore, individuation is presented as a continuous, never fully completed process of self-discovery and integration. Desire itself, particularly as carried by the anima, is described as having no specific object and being not something that can ever be permanently fulfilled, with pleasure often residing in the pursuit rather than the realization. The mystery that sustains desire is not a fabricated illusion, but a reflection of a woman's genuine psychological depth and her ongoing journey of individuation. If she is truly vast and a poem unfolding, she is constantly discovering new aspects of herself, which inherently means she cannot be fully known or solved by another. This authentic, dynamic inner life creates an unconscious resonance with a man's own innate drive for growth, exploration, and meaning. The tension between desire and limit/form/prohibition is maintained, preventing the relationship from becoming stagnant or predictable, which can dampen desire. To awaken and sustain deep desire, a woman should focus on her own personal growth, cultivating her inner world, and embracing the unknown aspects of her psyche. This creates an authentic sense of mystery that invites continuous engagement and wonder from a man, aligning with his own unconscious need for discovery and transformation. It moves the relationship beyond transactional dynamics to a shared journey of exploration, with a partner as a source of ongoing fascination and inspiration rather than a solved puzzle, reflecting his purpose and legacy, a companion of depth. The fifth psychological place involves connecting with a man's deepest sense of meaning, purpose, and aspirations, ultimately becoming a companion of depth who reflects his legacy. The source material powerfully suggests that when a woman reflects his purpose and reminds him of who he is and who he dreams to become, she becomes woven into his future. This speaks directly to a man's deepest identity and his aspirations for contribution and meaning. This taps into a man's inherent need for significance, contribution, and self-actualization. Jungian psychology emphasizes the importance of living a life aligned with inner truths and potential, which is a core aspect of the individuation process. A man who is deeply engaged in his mission or purpose, who possesses a strong sense of self-independent external validation, is inherently attractive. This stems from his inner completeness and confidence. Becoming a partner who truly sees, affirms, and supports his individual journey and potential goes beyond superficial encouragement. It involves seeing as being their full potential, who they really are, their essence. This is a profound capacity to love by seeing the other as God meant him or her to be. Such a role involves being a guardian of your being, protecting his space to be authentically himself, including his shadow aspects. A man who loves sees your shadow and doesn't flinch. True love, from a Jungian perspective, involves supporting one another's inner development and walking side by side on a path of growth. It is fundamentally a process of mutual individuation. This requires mutual respect and acknowledging his successes and strengths without losing sight of one's own. The deepest and most enduring form of male desire, according to Jungian principles, arises when a woman not only accepts a man's current self but also mirrors and affirms his unconscious drive towards his highest potential and purpose, his self, thereby becoming an indispensable companion in his individuation journey and the co-creation of his legacy. Many relationships are built on immediate attraction or shared interests, but some relationships transcend these to become deeply foundational to a person's life and future. The source material explicitly mentions legacy and building with you. Jung's concept of individuation is the process of realizing one's talents and potentialities, striving toward the self-archetype, which represents the totality and highest potential of the individual. Love, in Jung's view, is a spiritual connection and a transformative process that supports both partners' individuation. True love is about seeing the being in their full potential. A man's conscious desire for a partner is often intertwined with his unconscious drive towards self-realization, individuation, and the actualization of his deepest purpose, his self. If a woman can genuinely perceive, acknowledge, and affirm this deeper potential within him, she becomes more than just an object of desire. She becomes a catalyst, a mirror, and a vital partner in his life's most profound journey. This is not about flattery or enabling, but about seeing his essence and believing in his becoming. This deep recognition fosters a bond that transcends fleeting passion, anchoring it in shared meaning, mutual growth, and a future-oriented vision legacy. She becomes woven into his future. To awaken this profound level of desire, a woman should cultivate her capacity for deep empathy, active listening, and understanding, seeking to connect with man's core values, aspirations, and his unconscious drive towards his highest self. By becoming a partner who genuinely supports his path to wholeness and purpose, she taps into a fundamental human longing for significance and shared destiny, making her presence not just desired, but essential and irreplaceable. This leads to a relationship that is not just love, but destiny and a home for his soul. This evolution signifies a move beyond mere desire to a shared vision of building a life and legacy together, transforming the bond into a timeless bond that transcends conditional affection. The path to transformative relationships. The exploration of Jungian psychology reveals that awakening profound and lasting desire in a man transcends superficial attraction and manipulative tactics. The 5 psychological places discussed: embracing the anima, integrating the shadow, navigating projection towards individuation, cultivating mystery and depth, and reflecting his purpose and legacy, are not isolated techniques, but interconnected facets of psychological wholeness and authentic relating. They represent a transformative journey from fleeting infatuation, often driven by unconscious projections, to a deep, soul-nourishing connection that fosters mutual growth and enduring partnership. The core message embedded in Jung's framework is that true, profound attraction stems primarily from within. It originates from self-awareness, radical self-acceptance, and a consistent commitment to one's own individuation process. As Jungian principles suggest, genuine desirability arises from self-mastery and the courageous embrace of one's shadow, rather than from a pursuit of moral perfection or emotional dependency. Relationships, in this profound Jungian view, are not merely social arrangements but alchemical vessels for mutual transformation, where both partners grow toward wholeness and deeper consciousness. Authenticity serves as the bedrock of these connections. Without it, interactions devolve into mere strategies that erode trust and prevent the emergence of genuine intimacy. Jung's insights offer a profound map to relationships that are not solely about fleeting passion or superficial compatibility. Instead, they are about catalyzing growth, fostering psychological integration, and bringing forth the best in both the feminine and the masculine principles within each individual. This path leads to a love that is real, deepens over time, and continues to fascinate and inspire. It culminates in a bond that feels timeless and independent of external circumstances. Ultimately, this journey is about becoming the woman who met him where he was real, fostering a bond that resonates as destiny and a home for his soul. This is a true awakening of desire, a desire for profound connection, shared purpose, and a transformative journey toward wholeness. To summarize these key psychological places and their practical implications: 1. Embracing the anima. Core Jungian principle: a man's unconscious feminine blueprint, anima, and its role in attraction. How it awakens desire. By embodying authenticity and emotional depth, a woman resonates with and helps integrate his inner anima, moving beyond superficial projection to mature, conscious attraction. Practical implication for relationships: Cultivate emotional intelligence and genuine feminine essence. Understand that initial attraction often mirrors inner needs, and strive to be real, not idealized. 2. Integrating the shadow. Core Jungian principle. Psychological wholeness through accepting disowned self-aspects. How it awakens desire. A woman's self-acceptance and willingness to face her own darkness creates a safe, non-judgmental space, unconsciously inviting a man to acknowledge and integrate his own shadow, leading to attraction based on mutual authenticity and wholeness. Practical implication for relationships. Engage in self-reflection and shadow work. Practice radical self-acceptance and express vulnerability from a place of inner strength, not neediness. 3. The dance projection and individuation. Core Jungian principle. The journey from illusory infatuation to real love through mutual self-realization. How it awakens desire. By engaging in her own individuation process and consciously withdrawing projections, a woman fosters a relationship dynamic where both partners grow beyond idealizations, leading to a deeper, conscious, and resilient love. Practical implication for relationships. Recognize initial infatuation as projection. Commit to personal growth and seeing your partner as they truly are, supporting their journey toward wholeness. 4. Cultivating mystery and depth. Core Jungian principle. Desire thrives on the unknown, numinosity, and continuous discovery. How it awakens desire. A woman's authentic, ever-unfolding inner world, vast and complex, prevents stagnation and invites a man's continuous engagement, resonating with his own unconscious yearning for discovery and meaning. Practical implication for relationships. Nurture a rich inner life. Pursue your passions and embrace your own evolving self. Avoid becoming a solved puzzle by maintaining a sense of genuine intrigue. 5. Reflecting his purpose and legacy. Core Jungian principle. Aligning with a man's deepest sense of meaning, purpose, and potential himself. How it awakens desire. By genuinely seeing, affirming, and supporting a man's core purpose and highest potential, a woman becomes an indispensable companion in his life's most profound journey, fostering a desire for shared destiny and legacy. Practical implication for relationships. Understand his aspirations and values. Support his personal growth and vision for the future, becoming a true partner in his life's mission.